If you love those slow cooked dishes but don't have the time to cook them, then a pressure cooker is your answer. I love pressure cooking because you get those slow cook results done fast. Just like the recipe I'm going to show you now, which is a blonde bolognese. Usually when you make a bolognese, it's a ragu and it'll take about an hour and a half to 2 hours to really develop those flavours. We're going to develop those flavours within 35 to 40 minutes. It really gives you such fantastic results. So why is it called a blonde bolognese? Well, instead of cooking this in a rich red sauce, we're going to be cooking it with milk, white wine and stock only. So it's going to be a lovely golden colour. It is delicious and it's a great change from the regular one that we all know. So in with some butter, along with a good glug of extra virgin olive oil. Now, just like every other bolognese, we need the classics to start this off. So onion, finely chopped, along with some carrot that's been finely chopped. You can also do this in a food processor to speed the chopping up too. And in with some celery. And we're going to cook them off in the base of the pressure cooker until they're slightly soft. At this stage, I'll also add some speck, and the speck is not only going to give it a nice salty flavour, but as it renders the fat, that is also going to give it a really nice meaty flavour too. So I'll just take that out of the pack and I'll use about half of this speck. We'll take the rind off and finely chop it. I want this to be around the same size as all our vegetables. Now, there is no passata in this, but I will be adding a slight amount of the tomato paste. And what the tomato paste is going to do is give it a rich flavour. Now, my pressure cooker is a 9-litre capacity pressure cooker, which is fantastic to make big batches of food, also great for families because you can fit more in. And this actually freezes quite well. So if you're going to make this recipe, do a big amount of it. Always good for those nights where you're not in the mood for cooking and you can defrost it. All right, this is looking good. And we'll add that and cook it for a few more moments with our onion mixture. Now I'm just going to turn the heat up so we can add some garlic. So 3 to 4 cloves of garlic, finely chopped again. And I like the addition of some chilli, just some chilli flakes. We'll sprinkle that in. And some lemon zest, so just 1 peel of lemon. So we'll pop that in. I'm quite happy with that. So we can add a touch of tomato paste. Don't add too much of the tomato paste. We still want it to be that light golden colour. I'm using the tomato paste here as a thickening agent as opposed to the colour of it. So we'll add that. And some sage. I love sage. So a few sprigs of sage, we'll pick them straight in there. Look how large those leaves are, full of flavour. It also goes really nicely with veal, and that's what type of meat I'll be using for this. We'll mix that through. Now for the meat. So veal goes in. I'm going to add some pork too, and I like to use a fattier pork for this. It's going to keep it nice and moist. Now really get in there and break up the bits of meat. I don't want big clumps. I want it to be as fine as possible. So mix and break that up with that wooden spoon. Okay, seasoning. Good pinch of salt. You can see I've got quite a lot here, so 2 pinches of salt. And some freshly cracked pepper. And some white wine, so good glug of white wine, just to deglaze the pan. Okay, once that starts to boil, which it is, we can add the rest of the liquid. So some stock. You'll need about 2 cups of stock for this. We'll pop that in. And the milk. And this is the part you may be going, what is she doing? But it works. It almost transforms, it curdles slightly, and then it gives it this really lush, almost cheesy flavour. It's so good. So we'll pour that in. About a cup. Give that a mix. And now it's time to cook it long and slow. If you're doing it the traditional way, about 1.5 to 2 hours, or in this case, I'm pressure cooking, so it's only going to take 40 minutes. We'll lock it into place, turn it to pressure cook, and this pressure cooker is fantastic because it comes with a self-activating timer. So I'm going to set it for 40 minutes, and the timer will go off once when it's up to pressure, which means you simply have to turn the heat down to medium, and then we'll go off a second time when it's cooked. Bolognese is ready to go. When the timer goes off, always important to release the pressure. So we'll just turn that, and then you'll see all of the steam start to release itself. Now, while that's happening, we can cook our pasta, and please ensure that you cook your pasta al dente because I want to finish cooking it in our sauce. Okay, this pasta is al dente, so let's bring this whole thing together. I want to show you how gorgeous this looks. Oh, and the smell is just the best. The meat is just so soft. That's what we're after. Now we can add the pasta, and you can see that it is slightly liquidy. That's okay. Once I toss it all together with some Parmesan cheese, you'll see it stick to each piece of pasta. Now I'm using rigatoni. I think it's the perfect match for this. In it goes. And if some of the starchy water goes into the bolognese, that's fine. In actual fact, I do want some of that water to go in there because, again, it'll help bind everything together. So when we say al dente, we mean to the bite. It should be just slightly chalky in the center, because by the time I add some of the Parmesan cheese, toss it, serve it up, get it to the table, it'll be perfectly cooked. So we'll give that a stir. And this is another beautiful thing about this 9-litre pressure cooker. Lots of space just to toss everything together. This particular dish will feed at least 6 people. Now for the Parmesan, and don't be stingy with the Parmesan. You need lots of grated Parmesan. I have turned the heat off. You don't want to be adding this Parmesan cheese when this is rapidly boiling. If you do that, it might clump together. We just want it to give our gorgeous pasta a nice shine. So give that a good stir and let that cheese melt. It's so good. I can actually smell the sage. Fantastic addition. All right, let's plate this up. And like all my pasta dishes, well, majority of them, a little extra cheese. Why not? On it goes. And some freshly cracked pepper. There you go, blonde bolognese. This would usually take about 2 hours to gently bubble away. This is done in 40 minutes and it tastes just as good, dare I say, even better. Cheers to pressure cooking.